We're at the Baldry Methodist Church Hall this evening, and a requisition meeting being held for you. I mean, Andrew, it's incredible. I don't know if this has ever been done before. I mean, is it a first?
I think it may be a first. I've not done any research. Obviously, I spent so much time doing research into the topic of the meeting, but I've not done any research as to this. But the bizarre thing is, from my understanding, I need to do some more research into this situation, is that the captain of the parish can be petitioned by 12 parishioners to call a meeting. However, they do not have to attend the meeting. And he has no power of me to enforce me to attend the meeting.
And you said at the beginning, you may or may not answer questions or whatever.
And I don't have to answer questions. But well, why not? Yeah. I mean, I don't shrink from any issue.
Let's get down to this. I mean, this is all about the right to die.
This is
because I thought sewage might come up as well, but it was very much by the captain of the parish kept to the one subject matter. Now you had two camps in here, basically.
Yes. Yeah, we did.
For and against. Yeah. But the point being that you assumed, or it being used on various internet forums, that you had changed your mind. Do you want to clarify without going into too long detail?
Well, that's fine. Well, what I tried to do on the election campaign, and I talked to many people, and as I say, only one came up on the doorstep. Now, another young lady says that I spoke to her about it, but in fairness, I can't remember that one, but we'll say two then, to give her the benefit of the doubt. Two people spoke to me on the doorstep out of everybody else. And it wasn't a policy of mine, and it was nothing written in my manifesto, and I didn't campaign on it. But at one, I think it was Studio One, yeah. There was someone in the audience that gave a very, very emotive speech, and what I tried to do is, and I know that I'm a man of faith, and I don't hide that fact. Everybody knows that votes me that I'm in the Salvation Army, so I've never hidden or shrunk from that situation. And I thought, well, okay, just think through this rationally and try and remove yourself and your own feelings and try and look at a bigger picture. And so I said I would try and support as Martin read out verbatim, as he would, because obviously he was one that lost, as a consequence of my gain. He read it out verbatim, and I said I would try and support it. But then, and I started research from that time onwards, because I knew that it was going to be a difficult subject. Not that it was an election issue, because as I said in my speech before, in 19 of the current 24 members, there was no mention of assisted dying in their manifestos. That's not to say they didn't have a view, but it was not written down for the public, and neither did I have it in mind. So I wasn't voted in on that specific thing. So I then obviously thought, well, yes, give it a chance. But then the more I researched and the more I saw about the Netherlands and Canada and the US, and then as Sir Lawrence Dew mentioned about the 12-year-olds because they're tired of life. I hang on a minute, this is so mind-blowing. It's a minefield. I thought, no, and if the thing is, if you give your consent at the outset for reading of a bill, that's the slippery slope. How do you then come in later and say, oh no, sorry, I shouldn't have done that? So at some stage, when you've got this dichotomy of your intrinsic values that you've been brought up with, and rest assured, I mentioned at the beginning how we were brought up with dying, whereas today's society is totally aloof.
Well, as I said, there's two camps in here, and no one was going to move. I think it went round in circles a lot, but you'll see the whole thing. We'll put the whole thing out there. Do you think it was a good idea to have this event? Was it useful? Did it clear the air?
I think it. Well, I don't know for sure. I'm hoping that people will approach me, and I'd like to think that all those that have not confirmed that they wrote a letter will come back and say, well, I was one of those. So why should we not have an open society, especially as how can we possibly work and set legislation and policy if our electorate won't speak to us openly? We can't have this underhand and undercurrent all the time on ulterior motives. I don't think it's good for society or good for political life.
Well, you said only 12 people had to sign this, were members of Lonan, but you're asking for freedom of information to find out who these people are. Well, that didn't get play too well.
Well, that didn't go down too well. Well, why should I not know? What is the issue? I've put my neck and my life on the line. I went through it in detail. Did I not explain in full detail every date? I didn't have to do that. I acquiesced to do that. So is it not right that, so sorry, Andrew, we did put a letter in and we'll agree to disagree, or can you not do this? There's no discussion.
Do you think it was a witch hunt then? I mean, do you think there were people, well, you say the people here who didn't get in, maybe they were looking for something on you, I don't know, but
I don't know.
Nothing can be done here though, can it? Nothing can actually be done, do you?
That's for them to answer, but I mean, at least they have come here in open discussion, so now I know, when I see them on the street, I say, hey Martin, do you want to talk about assisted dying? Or hey Gareth, do you want to talk about assisted dying? And there's no reason why they can't say they were going to shrivel like violets away from me. Come on, let me grow up.
Finally, because of your faith, you will never change your opinion, right? You will be driven by your faith. I think that again was sort of the question here. You know, will you represent your constituents, or do you keep to your faith?
Well, don't forget constituents plus the island. Don't forget, I'm a not just a constituency MHK. I'm an island politician. So we still believe at the last census that we are over 50%, 60% Christian. So why should we not be looking after the majority of the island population? As I said before, we still have prayers in Tynwald and Keys. There's a big service on Tynwald Day. Everybody goes into the church. We have a sitting in the church, for goodness sake. So how can you start to turn your back on all that and say, well, no, you can't. I'm afraid you've got to walk a straight pathway, and it's not easy in life, but you just got to try and hold to your convictions. And looking at the current research I've done, I'm nowhere that I'm anywhere near changing my mind from this stance that I've got today of opposing assisted dying on the Isle of Man.